I'm Lineke Lijn, and in this tutorial we are going to draw two swans. You can see them right behind me here, and together they make that wonderful heart formed shape. They're wonderful to draw, so let's get started. The other day I found an old scrapbook of mine, and in this there were some lovely pictures of swans, and my eye fell on the last one with the two swans that are making a heart with their necks, and I thought that would be nice to make a study out of it. And so I tried it on different kinds of paper, a simple white paper and a sand colored paper, and then I tried it on some dark blue paper, and that struck me the most because then you can create a scenery of a swan in the moonlight. Of course, you can study on all kinds of paper. You can also try black, blue, sandy or white, or even different colors if you want. But for this study, we will be working on the blue one. For the setup, I'm using a white pencil. The lines are very gracious, and it's like drawing a 2. The number 2, if you like. Then I set in the jawline, and then I gracefully follow the line that I was setting up already. Once I have that long neck, I can start with the feathers that are going from the wings and are sloping round the body of the swan. Here you can see the side of the wing, and from underneath there's the rest of the main body of the swan and the tail. Then I place in the beak and the space around the beak and the space for the eye. Once I have that, I can put in the left swan. I will make this one a little bit smaller because it is further away from us and kind of drifting in the back, and just touching the beak of the other swan. Now their long necks are kind of forming a heart shape. And here I draw in the feathers that are moving back and away from us. Once you have this set up, you can color in all of the swan. I try to use not too much pressure, and I will speed up the time here a little bit, so you can easily see how I'm coloring in. For the middle part sections where there is a lot of shadow, I do not press too hard. On the sides I press harder, and that is the appearance of the light that is just coming around the corner of the swan's neck and on top of the head. Here on the back of the swan, there is hitting a lot of light. So here I press a little bit harder on my pencil. By pressing softer and harder on the white pencil on this blue paper, you get different gradations of white. When you press little soft, the color of the paper still shines through your drawing. So that's the way you get different colors of white. I love this technique very much. It's very nice to do. And you can also see that I keep little spaces between the parts that I whiten in. This way I get a natural flow of the suggestion of feathers. For the left swan, there is the same process. You can see it here that the left swan has a little less detail than the right swan. But still, I need to shade in everything because the swan is white, even though it's floating in a dark scenery. Also here, I'm pressing a little harder for the parts where the moonlight hits the swan. And then I also shade in the complete left swan to give it that whitish look. Also for the water, I use the same white pencil because on the surface of the water there's also some moonlight shine and reflection of the water. I need a surface that the swans are floating on, so I simply use horizontal strokes for the suggestion of water. Now it's time for the black pencil. Around the beak there's a lot of black going on, so I already put this in. Then I take my yellow pencil. It's for the color of the beak itself. I do not press all that hard, just a little bit, and then a little bit of white over it for the lights of the moon. And of course, I do the same for the left swan. Now for the shading in of the swan itself, I use a purple. Purple is a lovely color for the shadow color of white. purple makes the white stand out even better, and it gives it that soft feel of the swan body. Also, in this case, it works very nice with the blue paper. I also tried it on the sandy colored paper, and here the purple works perfectly, maybe even better, but it works perfectly on colored and white paper. So the purple is very nice to work with. I also use a little bit of orange on the beak, just to give it some more feel of reality. You can keep building up the whites on your swan. It's a matter of feel. Some of you maybe really want them to be whitish white, but I keep in a lot of shadows, because in a moment I will be drawing in a moon, and with the moon in the background, all the dark shadows are in the front. Now that I've come this far with my drawing, I'm still figuring out where is the most of the white, and I can see now that the parts that really had the most whites are quite good enough. Then you can always pick up your black pencil again for the extra dark parts. So you can keep building your drawing up. Here underneath the cheek, for instance, a little bit more black, and also on the side of the left swan. So you kind of can use the black pencil to even out some parts that are maybe too white, or the parts that need extra shadows. In the front, for the water, I use a little bit more color, because in front of us that's close by, so you can put in a little bit of blue to get somewhat more depth perspective. Now it's time for the moon. I use a little light pressure on the carton I have, and now I speed up the time, and I will fill in the moon with the white pencil that I also used for the setup. I build up this white as smooth as I can. I make sure to keep between the lines, and I keep building up the white of the moon. You can see that I make the bottom of the moon more white than the top of the moon. With a fine liner, I now go around the edges of my swans, and I do in the little details. And you can see the paper sucking up the ink from the fine liner. But with the fine liner, I can make the heads stand out a little bit better against the moon. I use it very sparsely, just for some tiny lines that I want to stand out. Now that I have this, I pick up the black pencil again, and I use that for the darkest shadows on the rest of the body and underneath the feathers, and I even use it in the water. The moon can use a little bit of yellow too. This brings the attention to the two heads of my lovely swans. The bottom line of the moon I make extra white to give it a round feel. So far, this rough sketch. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will give it a big like. And of course, also, I hope to see you in one of my other movies. Take care. Bye bye.